Hey, what's up YouTube? It's abluegolfball here today with another Pokemon TCG online video, and today I have for you guys a Absol deck from Plasma Freeze. I had to think about that for a second. Anyways, Absol is the 100 HP Darkness type Pokemon. It's got the attack Mind Jack, does 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon, and which is a little bit better than Raichu. It's, you know, in a sense, if you don't have any bench Pokemon, then you're doing nothing, right? So it's 20 times. It's got Fearsome Shadow, does 60, you can see your opponent's hand, and it's got 1 retreat, we're weak to fighting, does have psychic resistance. So, here's the deal. Alright, since there's been an abundance of Pokemon now these days that like to play bench Pokemon using Skyfield, there's a whole plethora of different decks out there that revolve around Skyfield to bench up to 8 Pokemon, my goodness. We're going to exploit that with Absol here and Mind Jack. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing the Target Whistle. We're going to have 4 of these. In scenarios where our opponent has basic Pokemon in the discard pile, we can put a basic Pokemon from our opponent's discard pile onto his or her bench, filling up their bench space. We will be playing Skyfield for 3 of these, up so our opponent can have up to 8 Pokemon. Now get this, Mind Jack with 8 Pokemon on their bench. With we're going to be playing Deoxys, the 170 HP Psychic Pokemon. Team Plasma, it's got Power Connect. For your Team Plasma Pokemon's attack, excluding this Deoxys and other Deoxys as well, do 10 more damage to the active Pokemon. Now, if we can play Make-Believe for a little bit, we can Mind Jack, does 20 damage, plus 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon on your opponent's field. Now, for example, if we can control our opponent's side of the field a little bit with Target Whistle, we can Mind Jack, let's say, potentially 8 Pokemon on their bench. That's already doing 20 more damage for each of those 8. That's already 160. Plus that's already 180. Plus 4 of these guys here. That's already 100 and no, that's what am I saying? 100. That's 220 damage. All right. Plus a Muscle Band. You can one-shot a Whale Lord EX if you really wanted to, and if they had a full bench. Wow, that is insane. You can hit up to 260 damage. The only things that can survive this is probably, what is it, Trevenant, with the ability to have the Grass Energy, and also, what was that, Black Kyurem EX with Crystal Wall. So, there you go. Alright, so in case we run into Pyro, we're going to be running a 2-2 line of Glaceon here with Free Zone. We have Free Retreat, and you can also use Icy Wind. And you might be thinking, well, how do you play Icy Wind? We have 2 of these Rainbow Energies. That way we have the flexibility to also use Deoxys Helix Force. And that could be a second attacker as well. So we have multiple attackers here, and also the Free Retreat makes it very flexible for this deck. That's it for the Pokemon. Very simple, very straightforward. We do have Colorless Machine to energy accelerate a little bit more with the Plasma Energies. We got the Dowsing Machine, we got the Professor's Letter, got 2 switches, got the Target Whistle as mentioned before, playing basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto their bench. 4 of these. Got Team Plasma Ball, 3 of these. Trainer's Mail, gotta love this card. I absolutely love this card. We got the VS Seeker, and you might notice it's gonna be pretty difficult to get the EV. We're hopefully just gonna be trying to draw into him since we're not gonna play any Ultra Balls. All these are Team Plasma, and so we got the VS Seeker, 3 of these, and then Colress. Got the Lysander, got N, got Professor Birch's Observation, 4 Juniper, and that's it for the supporters. Again, I can't emphasize enough, we gotta try to draw into EV. Now, you might be thinking, why am I playing this Energy Evolution EV? Well, I just like the picture. So, I don't know. The other one is just as good, actually better with the 60 HP. We don't even use Energy Evolution since we don't play any water type energy, but, you know, I thought, yeah, we'll just play this in here anyways, right? And so, it's probably going to be my doom, but I like the picture there a little bit better. Anyways, we have the Shadow Circle. That way we can protect ourselves with the Darkest Energy from weaknesses. And then the Skyfield, as mentioned already. Got the Muscle Band, and 4 of these Team Plasma Energies, 2 Rainbow Energies, and the rest of these Darkness Energies. That's it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see this deck in action on Pokemon TCG Online. Alright, and we'll be playing against, looks like, XZ, yeah, I don't know, I can't, maybe that stands for something, I'm not too sure, but I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, and I believe it's my opponent's turn to choose heads or tails to see who wins the coin toss, and I gotta wait and see. if we get to go first. Now, in a situation like this, sometimes you want to go second. That way you can draw into a Darkness Energy and even a Colorless Machine, and then you can start attacking on turn 1. That's kind of an ideal setup, but it looks like my opponent did with a coin toss, flipping heads and choosing heads. We lead. We'll go ahead and play the Absol, not the Absol EX, the Plasma Absol, put it into the active spot. We do have the Deoxy EX, which we can either hang on to or play it onto the bench. We start off with a really bad hand. Now, we see 2 Glaceons in there that are absolutely useless. We don't have any EVs on the floor, and wouldn't even be able to use the Fury Cheat at all. So, we are in top deck mode here. We need an energy. We need a top deck some supporter. We need to top deck something, anything. My opponent starts off with a Zubat, so that could be a variety of anything. Zubat, Crobat, Golbat, those bats can literally be thrown into any deck almost. It's crazy, but we see a laser on to our Absol. My opponent even plays a Professor Sycamore. Oh my goodness. Mega Latios is in the discard pile, as well as a Crobat and a Golbat. And my opponent gets another Zubat going. So I don't know how I feel about that. My opponent going pretty aggressive right away. And that's it. So we can just play the energy here. I don't know how I feel. Do I want to retreat and hang on to the switch? Let's see. I think I might play a little more conservatively. And you know what? We're just going to burn the energy card and pay the retreat. You know, it's tough. I could play the switch, but you know what? We're just burning it, and then we're hanging on to the switch. That way we can get the Oxy EX out of the active spot afterwards. And that's it. We'll just pass the turn. It's my opponent's turn, and we got to wait and see what he can do on his side of the field. We could see some more bats going around. Could see some more Zubats played. Could see a variety of different things. Right now, we are not in a very good position, nor are we in a really good start. And it makes me wonder now, what's the best case scenario? What can we really do from this here? And really nothing. We can't even use a target whistle because my opponent doesn't have any basic Pokemon in his discard pile. But we can just hope and pray for a top deck here. And maybe an N or something like that. That'd be really good. Otherwise, let's see. Well, my opponent plays an energy onto the Zubat. We could get hit for 40, I think. He would need, oh wait, skill dive, yeah, that's right. Could get hit for 20. Or a muscle band that could hit us for, what was that, 60? That's pretty impressive. And oh, that's it, just 20 damage because of the weakness. And we got another target whistle. We just got to pass the turn. We can't really do much anything here. And it's my opponent's turn. My opponent has a nice hand size of 7. Anything can happen right there because, you know, lots of cards means lots of different things, right? So, right now the situation isn't looking too great, but looking at my opponent as well, it doesn't seem like my opponent was able to do anything in the last turn, and even into this turn after that Sycamore, my opponent hasn't done much of anything at all. So, gotta wait and see. We could see something like a Muscle Band, or could see a Golbat come into play. Oh, never mind. A VS Seeker again. What is going on here? My opponent's going to be going for that Sycamore, and it would be discarding a ton of cards. Oh, wow. Well, hey, it's a fresh hand. I gotta wait and see what is he discarding. And there it is. My opponent gets another fresh hand of 7. There is the Golbat, and we get hit for 20 more. We could see a Supercross. Silent Lab gets played. Wow, that's not good. There goes our Power Connect, and even an Ultra Ball could get the Jirachi, or not Jirachi, but a Shaman. But never mind. My opponent goes for another Latios and is down to 1 card. We get hit for 20, and the Supercross will hit us on the bench for 10. And too bad that resistance doesn't really matter on the bench. So, well, we do get that, so let's just go ahead. We're gonna switch. I'm gonna get that Deoxys out of the active spot. That way it's out of the danger, and of course we would flip tails, and that's it. We have a target whistle, but that's kind of useless. We do have a Lysander in hand, which we can Lysander out the Zubat, knock it out, target whistle, bring it back in. That's kind of a strange scenario, but it's actually kind of a opportunistic kind of thing that we can do as well. And my opponent is at 2 cards. We are at 3. This is an absolutely slow start for both of us. And it just doesn't look really good right here, folks. My opponent plays a Professor Sycamore, discarding his hand. And again, wow, another discard of the hand. So that's 3 Sycamores already. There is the Crobat. That might be targeting the Absol. Could be targeting the Deoxys EX on the bench as well. My opponent does not have any of the Pokemon, any of his Latios EXs powered up at all. So that's something to look out for. Oh, there it is. There is an energy drop on the Latios EX on the bench. So Gotta be worried about that. Maybe at some point that guy's gonna come out and start hitting us. But wait, there's already 3 Mega Latios EXs in the discard pile. My opponent could be playing 4, so there could be 1 more, and that could be prized. So we are gonna do this. Let's go ahead. We're just Lysander out. We really need to get something from the prize cards. It's absolutely crucial that we get something from the prize cards at the very least. That way we can draw into something else. But we were able to hit for 100 damage. And look at that. We did get a VS Seeker. We can VS Seeker for the Professor Birch's observation. And in this way, we will be able to at least draw into some more cards and use the target whistle to get the Zubat back into play. And lucky for us, we have that psychic resistance. And so when the Crobat hits us, that's a little bit less. And never mind, the Latios EX comes out to play. We could see a Double Dragon energy drop or, oh, no, Water energy. Okay, that's pretty good too. Yeah, I think the fast raid will hit us for 40. Besides that, I think we should be okay. We'll survive the oh, my opponent brings out the it's okay, we have this the switch on the hand, so we'll be using a lot of cards right now. This is pretty good. Lucky for us, we got the switch. We can play right there. We play the target whistle and then bring back that Zubat. And then, of course, play the VS Seeker for that Professor Birch's observation. Lucky for us, it's not an N. That way, my opponent will be stuck with 4 cards still. And, oh, shucks, we get Tails anyway. We do get the Sky Fields. That's really good. And, ooh, look at that. We even get a Juniper. That's legit. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll just bench this Deoxys. Maybe, yeah, we'll bench the other Absol here. Mind Jack for a ton of damage, 120 damage with the damage boost from the Muscle Band plus the Deoxys. Able to do 80 plus 40 more, which is super awesome. Now, can you imagine if my opponent had 2 more Pokemon on the bench? That would have been a knockout right there, I think, right? No, it would have been a little bit short. And so, what I would need is 2 more Pokemon on the bench. That'll be 40 more. Right, so I've been at 160 plus another Deoxys. If I had that, then that would have been 170. That would have been a knockout on his Mega Latios. My opponent goes for a Super Scoop Up. That could have been very dangerous with the bat, but never mind. My opponent gets a Shauna, draws into 5 more cards, shuffling his hand into his deck. And the Crobat could come back out to play. We could see this Latios retreat. And look at that, my opponent benches another Zubat. Oh no, there it is. What we really need now is a Darkness Energy plus a Colorless Machine. If we get that, then we will be in prime position. And so, let's just get the Deoxys out here. We have 1 more Absol. We can draw into that, perhaps. But we'll thin out the deck a little bit with this, too. And here it is, the Juniper for nothing. Oh, no. We really needed the Darkness Energy, and we couldn't get it. So, this isn't looking like the best. We do have that Absol here. We didn't draw into the EV either. That'd be really sad if both EVs were prized. But 3 Darkness Energies. That means we have 2 Darkness Energies left. We do have the Rainbow Energy as well that we could have drawn into. But this is a little bit devastating. And you know what? It is what it is. We'll discard the target whistle. Let's go ahead. You know, we can get the Trainer's Mail, I guess. We can't really attack with anything anyway. And, you know, let's go for the Trainer's Mail. Fine. We'll go with the Colds Machine, and maybe we'll power up a Deoxys. You never know when we can use Deoxys to attack for Helix Force. So, we'll just play the Plasma Energy here, and then use the Coldest Machine to get another Team Plasma Energy onto our Deoxys on the bench. And there it is. So in the next turn, we do have the Juniper. Poor Absol EXL here is going to get knocked out, but if we get really lucky here, we should be able to get either a Rainbow Energy or a Darkness Energy to finish this guy off. My opponent here can still do a lot of damage with a lot of bats out here. The Crowbats, Golbats can still come into play. And there is a Crobat that could be targeting the Deoxys over here. And rightly so, my opponent does target the Deoxys EX on the left. And then that is just 20 damage away from getting knocked out. My opponent plays a Professor Birch's observation. He flips heads. Oh my goodness. We flipped tails twice on the Birch. And he flips heads on the Professor Birch. So we see the Ultra Ball that could be going for. Oh my goodness. That's going to finish off the Deoxys EX on the bench. And that's a knockout right there. So my opponent takes the prize lead. But we're tied in prizes. My opponent is up 3-5 left here. Or 3-1, you can say. And we will be falling behind there. My opponent takes another prize. It's 2 prizes left to 5, so he's up 4-1. We get another Colorless Machine. Might as well play that. Maybe power up another Deoxys on the bench too. You never know when these guys can retreat as well. And we gotta go with the Juniper, discarding one of our energies. And shucks, we didn't get the energy, the basic energy, but we did get the Rainbow Energy. I might end up using that onto the Absol. I guess that we really don't have a choice. And we'll just Mind Jack right here. I could have played it for. I could play the Team Plasma Ball too, but that's okay. Hey, we got another Absol here from the prizes. Taking 2 prizes right there. We are 1 prize behind from my opponent. And you can see my opponent has a lot of resources in the discard pile, including 3 Mega Latios and a bunch of Crobats and Bats. So we are in pretty good position and to capitalize on this. Now my opponent can still attack and knock us out per se if he was able to get some more Crobats somehow. Perhaps he has a Sacred Ash and then he can get some more Crobats plus Ultra Balls, things like that, and then hit us for a fast raid. That could be a knockout on an Absol, and we would be in grave danger here. But we gotta wait and see. My opponent could just hit us for 40, and we'll survive the turn. We can potentially knock out my opponent. Now, if we can do something like Target Whistle, bring back the Crobat, Zubat, things like that. I mean the Zubat, and maybe even the Latios EX. We could actually maybe hit for a number of damage here, and let's gotta see what we can do. So here it is. My opponent plays another Latios EX. That way we can actually fill up my opponent's bench now with Target Whistle, and this is great. So yeah. Okay, alright, so, you know what, my opponent counters the stadium. Ah, shucks. That's okay, we do have a Juniper here. There's a number of things that we can try to do. Let's go ahead and play the Absol here onto the bench, and let's go for the Trainer's Mail. Gotta play that stadium, gotta counter the stadium. We need that Power Connect for sure. So let's counter the stadium, and we'll go with the Target Whistle. We can bring back that Latios EX. My opponent's got a full bench. We should be able to knock him out right now. And this is the power. We can get the last Deoxys, and this is the power of the Absol here, hitting for 170 damage. Can you imagine? We could have, if we had more Target Whistles and my opponent had more basics, we could actually power up a little bit more right now, but yeah, that's okay. So we'll go with the VS Seeker. We can go with the Professor Birch. We got 4 cards anyways. I'll take my chances here, see if we can flip heads for once. And no, 3 tails in a row. I was really trying to test my luck. And I'm going to play this on this Deoxys. That's going to be a backup attacker instead of the Absol EX on the bench. And we'll take the knockout here. And we are in the prize lead, taking out that Latios EX. My opponent right now having a full bench could be pretty scary. You can see a number of different things happening right now. But then he brings out the Latios EX, and actually my opponent is going to deck out unless my opponent has an N. But, you know, I want to win with a solid victory. And, well, either way, you know, if my opponent retreats or somehow retreats, we should be able to knock out something at least, I think. But if we can bring out another Pokemon onto the bench, that'd be pretty cool. Finish off with another Mind Jack. But looks like we're going to be going for a 2-hit knockout. I'm going to play this energy on this Absol over here. We do have the Eevee, might as well play that. But maybe I won't play it because it could become a target. And I'm going to end up ending my opponent down to 2 anyways. We do get a VS Seeker, so this is pretty good. Limit my opponent's chances to do anything tricky, right? So I don't want to see any bats, things like that, and my opponent can take two knockouts right away. So yeah, no bats, nothing crazy like that, and my opponent just gets a double dragon energy. And that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for the show, and we will be able to knock out my opponent with our Deoxys here. Going for the Helix Force for the win, hitting for 150 damage, knocking out, and we will take the win. Look at that. Alright, so that is the Absol, Team Plasma Absol deck, and hopefully you guys liked the video, and if you do like it, give it a thumbs up, and if you are a new subscriber, feel free to subscribe, hit that subscribe button right below this video, and if you are a returning subscriber, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting this channel, and I read all of your guys' comments. You get your guys' comments mean a lot to me, and I continue to read them, and they're great for me. So yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.